polling place could be different if you live in Beloit. The city changed where people will vote in 2024, opting to run elections out of churches rather than schools. WMTV 15 News' Marcus Arsvold shares how the changes impact voters.
Sun Valley Presbyterian Church is one of the new polling locations behind me, and I spoke with voters who will be voting here, and they say these changes aren't too impactful as they're close to where they've already been voting.
We all need to get out and vote.
Beloit voter Audrey Rixey says everyone should know their polling place and be ready to vote in the 2024 elections.
Because if you don't vote, you aren't expressing an opinion. And if people don't express opinions, it tends to think that the politicians just might run wilder than they do already.
Voter Otto Greenwood agrees.
Voting's a right, and you know, it's very important, and especially nowadays. What we're living through right now is voting is very important.
There are 3 new polling places and 4 polling places where some wards previously voted, like the Beloit Public Library, that are taking on more wards. Does the change impact your vote at all, or how you'll vote?
No, it's a church by the school down the street from where I voted, so it's not really very far difference.
And it's actually probably easier accessible than it was before.
Beloit Strategic Communications Director Sarah Locke says the city chose places based on accessibility.
We did a lot of work as we were working on developing these sites to make sure that we were giving access to voters throughout the community so that people would have polling locations in relatively close proximity to them, that be close to the bus line, that the locations were accessible for individuals who needed additional assistance.
So why change polling places now? Locke says increased political divisiveness and school safety worries pushed the city to make the final call. She says previously voters would go into school buildings on election day, causing some concern for the district. Now it's not an option.
I think all of it. You want to make sure that these kids are safe in the elementary schools, and so you know, we want to make sure that the buildings are safe and secure. And I know the school district wants to make sure the buildings are safe and secure.
Rixey says it makes sense.
Unfortunately, it does. I hate to say things like that. My kids came through school without having to worry about something happening to them. So I find it distressing that nowadays that isn't the case.
In Beloit, Marcus Arsvold, WMTV 15 News.